Behind the Remix with DJ Mic Lawry. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe if you haven't. Question for you. What makes an album a classic to you? That's what I want to know. What makes an album a classic? So I think my answers have changed throughout the years. So it used to be an album that was no skip, right? Like if I could play the whole album and I'm intrigued, I'm that locked in, it's flawless, right? And then I started to think there were certain albums that kind of slipped through the cracks and I was going so hard with not calling it a classic because maybe, like for example, if you got 15 songs on your album, that's a lot of songs. I'm not talking about in today's age. I mean, even back in the day, right? It's a lot of songs. So for you to be flawless on a lot of songs is kind of just a little difficult, right? Nevertheless, if it's a song or two that I don't care for, it fits the album, I just don't care for it, do we call that a classic? Right? I want to know y'all stipulations. What do you consider it? Now, this is what I will say. I do believe that a lot of the classic albums, no matter the genre, they usually have some of the same formulas. And what I mean by that is most classic albums, I believe, are conceptual. They're staying on a topic, right? And I think this is where I was talking about this in one of my other videos, the consistency. I think this is why people are so scatterbrained when they DJ or the audience asking the DJ to play all of these random songs all over the place because they're from the playlist past the aux era. We're from the I'm buying this whole album. We're from the people that produced and wrote this album and put it together, sequenced it. Do y'all remember back in the day, Timbaland, when his songs faded off, the other one would come in on beat? That's called a sequence. That's DJs and producers do that, right? We're in the playlist era where the song could go from 96 BPM to 144 and be all over the place. Then drop down to 66 and like it's all over the place, right? But nevertheless, the albums, like, okay, so I know some of y'all want to know, what's some of your classic albums? Okay, cool. Common B is a classic album, right? I'm not going to go the obvious for R&B because everybody goes Confessions, which it is, but I'm going to go Carl Thomas Emotional. Classic album. Now, here's my question. 112, part 3. Is it a classic? And if so, why? Here's my take on it. A lot of songs on there, right? When I think of the album in totality, I probably would call it a classic. But there are some songs on there that I don't listen to, right? I'm thinking of another classic. I'm trying to think of a different genre. Green Day, American Idiot, classic to me. All right. So I went rock, did R&B. Did I go rap? I did Common B. I'm trying to do some things that aren't, like, we don't talk about often, right? The Game's first album, right? I forgot the documentary. I was trying to think of the name. Classic. I think it has a lot of songs on that joint, though. Right? I know there's a song or two that I don't per se care for. And that used to be the deal. Busta Rhymes, Big Bang. It's a record or two on there I don't care for. And that would be the reason why I wouldn't call it a classic. But it's a classic, right? If so, why? If not, why? I'm just curious. Like, what are we basing this off of? But now let me go back to old school. I think the idea of classic for me might have been programmed from hearing it about Dr. Dre's Chronic, right? Everybody would talk about it was classic. So the elements of that is what I personally felt needed to be implemented for it to be a classic. And what does that mean? You need an intro, right? You need that first record that's like the introduction, you know what I mean? That kind of sets it off, you know what I mean? I'm gonna go to Usher here. He got Usher's Confessions intro. It's hard, like, and then it goes to the Yeah record, which is the most popular record, but it sets the tone, even though it has really nothing to do with the rest of the album. But it's like, let's get this one out here. I know y'all rock with this. Do that fit with the album? Yeah, it don't fit with the album. Can we say that? Can we say yeah, it don't fit with Confessions? Right? But it's still a classic album. You ain't taking that away. But Dre, intro, goes into, I think the first, let me go here because y'all be talking. Dre. Because I think it's Dre Day after that. which is very common. A lot of people do their singles because they know that'll keep your attention. I think that's why they do it. Yeah, go straight to the F for Dre Day. Let Me Ride. Yeah, we ain't gonna go through there. But the skits, funny, hilarious. It's something that is relative to what's going on, but it takes your mind off the music. Almost like not introduction. What are those things called? I can't think of them. It's a break in between plays. Intermission. Couldn't think of that word for that. Right? It's like an intermission, but it's still relative to what's going on. Takes your mind away for a little bit, gives you a little break, then boom, we back to it. Right? But when you get back to it, it's like DJing. Right? And this is why DJs are really good with putting together albums and producing, because we know what the people want. Sometimes when I'm DJing, I can't come from this BPM just going to the other one and people are gonna walk off the dance floor. What I do is sometimes I have to make an announcement. So if I just went to an upbeat record and everybody going crazy and they dancing, they sweating and everything, if I'm coming down to the slow one, I have to set the tone for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all was just getting it out there. We're gonna slow it up for a little bit. Ladies, I need you to get what you got. Like, you gotta set the tone for that change. It's a transition, right? And I do believe Dre is one of the best with transitions from a rap perspective. Dre, DJ Quick, and Timberland, Pharrell too, are some of the best with transitions. I was just talking to my students about that. Like if you go and listen to Venus versus Mars with Jay-Z, there's a bridge on there, right? That if a singer was on there, that would be the bridge. And I think that's dope. It's a dope transition. And I think since these producers do it, when they do it, the people that don't even know what's happening is just, they're fine with it. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Talk about it in the comments. I want to know what makes an album a classic to you. All right? What are the guidelines, right? We always talk about this, but we don't know for real. All right? It's Behind the Remix, DJ Mic Lawry. Let's get it.